manamapi Sachiputram Atasurupam Rupam Tasyagrajamuri Purim Maturim Goshtuvatim Radha Kundam Agirivaram Aho Radhika Madhvasam Prapto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Sri Guru Tam Natosmi Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Anandalilamaya Vigrahaya Hemabhaddivyacchavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasapradaya Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandaya Namo Namaste Bhaktya Vina Aparada Lakshay Chilpasta Kamari Tarangamari Nipamaitam Sharanam Ramana Ninde Namaste Charanamindam Ninde Namaste Charanamindam Govinda Namo Naramanamiti Govinda Namo Naramanamiti Govinda Namo Naramanamiti Govinda Namo Naramanamiti Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Sakhi Govinda Namo Naramanamiti Taveva Smi Najivami Tuyavana Tivikyaya Devi Tam Namam Charantikam. First of all, I offer my Sastanga Gandhavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers, thousands and thousands of times, at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipful spiritual guru, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Shtotaras Srimad Rupananda Parivarya, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And I offer my pranam to all these humble Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So yesterday we discussed how Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Srila Rupa Goswami. Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva Pranta, Sabashi Kaila Prabhu, Bhagavat Siddhanta. Mahaprabhu had manifested Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, the nature of Bhakti, pure Bhakti, and Rasa Tattva, and everything was Bhagavat Siddhanta based on Srimad-Bhagavatam. So the Gaudiyas, Gaudiya Vaisnavas, are those who have taken shelter of Srimad-Bhagavatam under the guidance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, anyone cannot understand Srimad-Bhagavatam. See, Lord, how Mahadev, Lord Shiva, he has said, Aham Vedmi, Shuko Veti, Vyasa Veti na Veti va. Bhaktya Bhagavatam Grajyam na Buddhya na Chati Kaya. Lord Shiva said, Aham Vedmi, I know something about Srimad-Bhagavatam. Shukho Veti, Shukadev Goswami, he knows something about Srimad-Bhagavatam. Vyasa Veti na Veti va. It's not clear whether Vyasadeva understands or not. Vyasadeva himself, he's written this Srimad-Bhagavatam, he saw in his trance and dictated it. And Lord Shiva is saying, it's not clear whether he knows or not. But one thing is for sure. How is it that Vyas may or may not know? Because sometimes a person may be inspired to speak something, and by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, what they are telling is even beyond their own realization. Srimad-Bhagavatam contains the glories of the Mahabhava of Srimati Radharani. So Vyasadeva has not realized it, though he has described it. So, Lord Shiva gave the conclusion, Bhaktya Bhagavata Krajam na Bhujan na Chati Kaya. It is certain that the Srimad-Bhagavatam is only realized by pure bhakti. Bhaktya Bhagavatam Krajam na Buddhya, not by your intelligence, na Chati Kaya, and also not by reading the commentaries. Someone may say, okay, I understand, I don't properly understand Srimad-Bhagavatam, but I'll read the commentary, and then by reading the commentary I'll understand. Lord Shiva is saying no. Na Chati Kaya. So, only when this Swarup Shakti of the Supreme Lord in the form of Bhakti enters into the heart of Jiva, then he can start to feel what is the meaning of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Only reading the words is not enough. If you see the words written, Ram, where have you been? Then what does it mean? Unless you understand the bhav, the feeling behind the words, you cannot understand even a simple thing. Ram, where have you been? For example, if the person is upset, Ram, one person called Ram was coming to meet with him, but he arrived 2 hours late. So then he says, Ram, where have you been? Means, why are you late? Otherwise, Ram went to meet with some lady secretly, and his friend found out about it. Afterwards, when Ram came to see him, he said, Ram, where have you been? Means, I know where you have been. Only the words are the same, but depending on the bhav, the sentiment, comes in a completely different, the interpretation is completely different. If you read Srimad-Bhagavatam, there you will see many places where the Gopis will say, Nakalu Gopika Nandano Bhavan Akila Dehinam Antaratmadrik. Oh Krishna, you are not the son of Yashoda. You are the Paramatma in everyone's heart. And so many people, they go away with the impression the Gopis know that Krishna is not the son of Nanda and Yashoda, he's the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, and that he's not even a human being, the Paramatma has appeared in this world because of the prayers of Lord Brahma to kill the demons and establish Dharma. So then the person thinks, the Gopis have said it, so the Gopis know that Krishna is Bhagavan. Do the Gopis know that Krishna is Bhagavan? Huh? Do you know? Do you know if they know or not?
I think they don't know.
Ah, yes, they don't know. Then why did they say this? So, it is said that the Paribhasha Sutra, that means the verse by which is the key to understanding the whole 10th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Traya Chopanishad Vischa Sankhya Yoga Cha Sattvatai Upagiyamana Mahatmyam Harim Samanya Tatmajam. Shukadeva Goswami said, Krishna is glorified throughout this. Traya he means 3 Vedas. Upanishad Vischa, throughout the Upanishads. Sankhya Yoga, he is to be searched for by the analytical study of all the elements in Sankhya Yoga. Chasattvatai, and in the Tantra Shastras. But that very Supreme Personality of Godhead who is glorified throughout the scriptures and the object of the search of all the great sages, Harim Sa Mana Tatmadhyam. Mother Yashoda thought, he is born from my womb. He is my natural born child. This verse, Srila Vishnu Thakur said, is Paribhasha Sutra. That means the verse which is the key to understanding the whole 10th canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. That means every verse should be understood in the light of that verse. So if Gopis have said, you are not the son of Mother Yashoda, you are Paramatma, then you have to know it under the light of this verse. So it means, perhaps Gopis they are upset with Krishna. They are disturbed that he has abandoned them in the middle of the night. So they are saying, Na Kalu Gopika, you are not the son of Mother Yashoda. You cannot be. Why? Because Mother Yashoda is very kind. Mother Yashoda is very compassionate. She cannot tolerate to see the sufferings of others. But what are you? You have deliberately abandoned us in the middle of the night and put us into the great fire of separation. So, usually the son takes the qualities of the mother. So if you are so cruel and Mother Yashoda is compassionate, then Na Kalu Gopika Nandanoba. You cannot be the son of Mother Yashoda. It's a criticism of Krishna with some soluntya, sarcasm. Akila Dehinam Antaratmadrik. You must be the super soul in everyone's heart. Why? Because if you are becoming very successful, the super soul is in your heart and watching, not saying anything. And if you are drowning, if you are being burnt alive in a fire, super soul in your heart is just watching and not doing anything. In happiness and distress, Samoham Sarvabhuteshu Nami Dvesti Chanapriya. Krishna spoke in Gita, this verse, in the mood of the super soul. I am equal to everyone. No one is my friend, no one is my enemy. The super soul is neutral. He's just upadrasta anumantascha. He's watching and he's giving permission for you to do what you want to do, even if it will take you in the wrong direction. He gives the freedom. So this is nature of the super soul. Asocha nanvasocha stam pragyabhasanstabhat say gatasu nagatasanscha nanu sochanti pandita. Krishna told Arjuna, you are speaking learned words, but you are mourning for that which is not worthy of grief. A wise person laments neither for the living or for the dead. So those who are situated in transcendental knowledge, they don't criticize God by saying there's something wrong with your creation. Time is the wish of Vishnu. His glance is, in his glance is a Kal Shakti, time, that makes everything happen. So everything that happens, happens by the will of Krishna. Why will you see fault in anyone or anything? Or in any situation? And begin to lament. Alas, alas, God's creation is imperfect. No. Everything is perfect, only our vision is imperfect. So Paramatma has this bhav, detachment from everything. So Gopis are saying, Akila Dehinam Antarak Krishna, you must be Paramatma. Because here we are crying and suffering so much, and you are hiding somewhere nearby and watching, and you don't do anything. You don't say anything. Your heart is not moved. So in this way, Braj Gopis are criticizing Krishna. Srimad-Bhagavatam is like this. Every verse, every word has many meanings. And it can only be understood when one has the shelter of Swarup Shakti, Bhakti Shakti, then Srimad-Bhagavatam comes alive. Apara sangsara samudra tsaitum bhajamahe bhagavata swarupam. It is said in the Padma Purana, the Srimad-Bhagavatam is the Swarup of Krishna himself, and it is a bridge to cross over the ocean of material existence. Once a Brahmin came to Jagannath Puri and he had composed some poetry. He wanted to read his poetry for the pleasure of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but it was not possible for anyone to make a presentation of music or philosophy or poetry without first being screened by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's secretary, Sri Swarup Damodar. Why? Because if there's some wrong siddhanta, or if there's some rasabhas, the ingredients of rasa, there's some deficiency in the rasa, then even though Mahaprabhu is tanadapi sunichena tarori vasvishnu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is more tolerant than a tree. But if he hears apasiddhanta and rasabhas, he becomes angry, cannot tolerate. Rasabhasa jadi hoy siddhanta virod sahitena pare prabhu mane hoy krodh. Krodh means anger. If Mahaprabhu will hear the wrong philosophy, apasiddhanta or rasabhas, the mellows of the katara are not proper, there's some defect, then he feels pain and becomes angry. So everyone had to go through the secretary of Mahaprabhu, Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami. Swarup Damodar Goswami was the most learned person among all the associates of Mahaprabhu. He was Mahaprabhu's associate from childhood. Just behind away from the Ganges, behind the house of Jagannath Mishra, there he lived. His name was Purushottam Acharya when he was young, before he left home. And when he became renounced, his name was Swarup Damodar Goswami. So he grew up with Mahaprabhu, they went to school together, they were very close. And though he was the most learned person, hardly anyone knew it. Why? Because he was always silent. Did not speak to anyone. One of the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava is Mauni, to be silent. Silence is very, very favorable for bhakti. You can sing as loudly as you want. And you can tell Harikatha and chant Harinam. Otherwise, most favorable, to be quiet. Vacho vegam, manas krodha vegam, jiva vegam, udara pasta vegam. All the problems in our spiritual life, they come from the uncontrolled tongue. Bhakti is extremely powerful. Even one active bhakti makes one liberated from this world. But we don't feel the power of the angas of bhakti due to offenses. And generally these offenses are verbal offenses. Criticism of others, becoming angry, saying the wrong things. In this way we throw broken glass all over the path. And then we have to walk on it. So, best to be silent. My Gurudev used to say that if you want to control someone, you can hold them. Because they have bones, so you can hold them. But if there's no bones, then you cannot hold them. So your tongue is like that. It has no bones inside. So it's very difficult to control it. There was a big war. All the monkeys, Hanuman, Angad, Sugriv, they invaded Lanka, and there was a big war with Ravan and all his defense forces. What was the cause of this war? The tongue of Sita. Because when Ram went into the forest to catch the golden deer, and the wizard, Marich, he pretended, he made the voice of Ram and said, "Lakshman, help me!" Then Sita Devi told Lakshman, "Go and help Ram." Lakshman said, "It's a trick. Ram cannot be in any trouble." So then Sita Devi said, "Ah, really? You want him to be killed so that you can enjoy me?" Because if the wife of the elder brother became a widow, then she would become the wife of the younger brother. So she spoke very sharp words. And because of this, pierced the heart of Lakshman. And he left Sita alone. And Rama told him, "Don't leave her alone, stay and protect her." And because of this, Ravan came and stole her. Then this big war took place. This is in Ram Leela, in Krishna Leela also. Massive war, Mahabharata war. Why? Because the tongue of Draupadi. When the Pandavas, they had a fantastic palace in Indraprastha, made by the Maya Danav. It was full of optical illusions. It's very wonderful design. And when Duryodhana came there, he looked and he thought that there was water. So he lifted his dhoti to walk through the water, but he walked and there was nothing there. And then when there was some water, he thought it was a floor and he fell in the water with a splash. At that time, Draupadi, she was laughing. Son of a blind man is also blind, she said. These words went in the ear of Duryodhana. He became furious. I will not stop at anything until all Pandavas are dead. And so this grudge, he was holding this grudge for years and years and years. until it fructified and became a massive war. So Rupa Goswami's first teaching, Vajo Vega, told this time. If you want to do bhajan, your consciousness has to be iconic, one-pointed, on attaining the service of Radha and Krishna. Don't worry about that so much. Try to chant Harinam continuously. If you chant Harinam continuously, the chitta will be clean, then you can search out Radha Krishna. Their forms will appear in your heart, you can serve them. Only talking so much about Radha and Krishna, but not chanting, will not have any positive result. That is only anadikar charcha. But our Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur would speak very strongly against the anadikar charcha. Means the conversation for which you are not eligible. Trespassing in a realm for which you have no passport and visa. So, first, control the tongue, practice silence and chant continuously. Then another state of mind will come. That's called Sumedasa. Yagyai Sankirtana Praya Yajantihi Sumedasa. Those who have good intelligence, Divyamati, good intelligence, they can take shelter of Nam Sankirtan. So, this Brahmin came to Jagannath Puri and he wanted to read his poetry to Mahaprabhu, but he had to go through Swarup Damodar. So he read the poetry to Swarup Damodar. Then Swarup Damodar Goswami told him, Yaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnava Sthane. Do you know this verse? Everyone should learn today. This is your verse for today. Jaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnava Sthane. Ekanta astray karo Caitanya charane. If you want to read Srimad-Bhagavatam, Jaha, go. Jaha Bhagavata pade. If you want to pade means study. If you want to study Srimad-Bhagavatam, Jaha Bhagavata pada Vaishnava stane. Go to the lotus feet of a pure Vaishnava who is the living embodiment of Srimad-Bhagavatam. And learn from him. But one thing is very important. Ekanta ashray karo Caitanya charane. Ekanta ashray. Take the one-pointed shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? Because only Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu in this age is distributing pure Braja Prem. Pure Parakiya Bhav. In Srimad-Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami said, Tameva Paramatmanam Jara Buddhyapi Sangataha. When the Gopis dropped everything and ran to meet with Krishna in the middle of the night, though Krishna is the source of Paramatma, he is the Supreme Lord, Jara Buddhyapi Sangataha. They thought, they had Jara Buddhi, that means they thought he is Jara. My secret and illegal beloved. Jara means one relation between, with a man, the man with whom the illegal relationship is going, which is against Dharma, is called Jara. So every living entity, they should be related to Krishna. But by Yoga Maya, Gopis thought Krishna is Jara. This mood you will not find in any other sampradaya. If you go to India, you can meet with the sadhus, great sadhus of so many sampradayas. Vallabh Sampradaya, Nimbarka Sampradaya. And they worship Radha and Krishna. But they never in their dreams think that Radharani is living in Yavat with her mother-in-law and Jatila, sister-in-law Kutila, husband Abhimanyu, and brother-in-law Durma. That she is trapped there and she doesn't want to be there. And it's very difficult for her to meet with Krishna. And she has to undergo so many difficulties to escape from her home secretly during the day on the pretext of worshipping the sun god, or secretly in the night to meet with Krishna. And after meeting with Krishna, then she'll have to quickly return to her home without being seen by anyone. And she again feels separation. This is our mood in the Mangala-Arati. Mangala-Arati means Mayura Sukhadi Sari Katapi Karaja Mangala Jagara Hetu Kariche Viraja. The sun is about to rise and Brinda deity has told the peacocks to sing, the cuckoos to sing, the parrots to sing. And the sound of the birds is combining together, makes very sweet sound to awaken Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna are lying together. Radhika is embraced in the arms of Krishna and they've become awake, but they're pretending to be asleep because they don't want to separate. They don't want to let go. But now soon the sun will rise and people will be moving around on the roads. If they don't separate now and quickly return to their homes, someone will see them. And there will be a very big scandal in the village. So Mangala-Arati is very beautiful. At the same time, there is the sweetness, Sambhog Mai Ras, Radha Krishna are together. And at the same time, there is the Bhavi Viraha. But that means being together, but feeling the anxiety of impending future separation. It's very sweet. So everyone, please come to Mangala-Arati. 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We make it not so early. And sing to Radha Krishna. Our Param Gaudiya has written this song. Shubha Drishti Karo Prabhu Jagatera Prati. Oh Krishna, please wake up and cast your merciful glance upon the world. Jagu ka hridaya mora su Mangala-Arati. And when by your glance you wake up the world, wake up in my heart su Mangala-Arati, very auspicious Rati, that is Bhav, the appearance of the divine sentiment of love for Radha and Krishna. So, if you will undergo the inconvenience and austerity to wake up very early every morning and pray, oh my Lord, please wake up, open your eyes, glance upon me, and wake up the Rati in my heart every day, every week, every month, every year, for years and years, what will happen? One day Krishna said, okay, he will agree. You asked me so many times. You woke up so early every day for so many years. And you begged me for this, take. And Krishna will give, and then you can hear. The birds are singing, cuckoo birds are calling, peacocks are calling. And the sweet, nectarian, beautiful atmosphere of Braja when Radha and Krishna are waking. Therefore this Leela is called Nishanta Leela. Nishanta means Nisha Anta, Anta, end of Nisha, end of night. But it especially means Nishanta, the end of the dark night of the soul's journey through the material world. Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam, Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, what is night for all living entities is day for the devotee. And what is night for the devotee is day for the living entities. It means that the ordinary persons, they are sleeping at this time. So if you want to be an ordinary person, you can sleep at that time. If you want to be a devotee, you have to be awake. And conversely, the devotees are chanting. When the materialists are running around doing karma, and the materialist thinks, I am awake. What is this devotee doing? Sleeping. But actually, devotees, his soul is awake. So this Nisha Anta, the end of night, means we have been traveling many lifetimes in the darkness of night of material existence. And when we go to Mangala-Arati and sing for Radha and Krishna, they bless us with realization, and then this realization is coming as Nisha Anta, the end of our material night time and the beginning of spiritual day. So, this very sweet mood, Parakya Rasa, the Gopis of Braj love Krishna secretly. They have to hide everything from everyone. No one should discover it. This type of love is only given by Caitanya Mahaprabhu, not in any other line. There are many pandits of Srimad-Bhagavatam, but they don't follow this mood. Therefore, Sotamra said, Jaha Bhagavata Pada Vaishnava Stane Ekanta Aswai Karo Caitanya Charani. Take shelter of the lotus feet of a pure Vaishnava, learn Bhagavatam from him, and at the same time be in the shelter of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Bhaktagan Nitya Karo Sangha Tabito Janibe Siddhanta Taranga. He's saying, then Sri Damodar said, Goswami said, Chaitanya Bhakta Gana Nitya Guru Sangha, every day associate with the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tabito Janibi Tomai Samudra Tabito Janibe Samudra Siddhanta Samudra Taranga, excuse me. Means, and if you do this, you can enter into the ocean, the waves. Taranga means waves, in the ocean of Siddhanta. Tabito Janibe Siddhanta Samudra Taranga. So then that Brahmin, he was astonished. So Mahaprabhu and his associates have done this pastime to show us the path to take shelter of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Yesterday, what did we discuss in Bhagavatam class yesterday? Who remembers?
That we should not be Bahir-mukh, that we should not look around the activities of materialistic people.
This was one point. What was our topic of Srimad-Bhagavatam yesterday? Bishmadeva. Yeah.
We wait for Krishna.
Yes, we were discussing how Bishmadeva was waiting for Krishna to come when he was on the bed of arrows. Srila Sanatana Goswami, through the mouth of Narad, has glorified this Leela. Narad was saying to Gopkumar, the glories of the Braj Gopis, who can describe them? Even Bishmadeva, first of all, he's a Naistic Brahmachari. So Naistic Brahmachari never talks about a woman, talks to a woman, thinks of a woman, associates with a woman, does anything. He has nothing to do with women. But what is he doing? Glorifying Braj Gopis. Means Gopis are not women. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Vistabiya Eva Nijarupataya Kalavi. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. What does it mean? Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. Satchid Ananda. Krishna is the predominating deity of Chit. Samvit. Radhika is the predominating deity of Ananda. So when Radha and Krishna, that is Chit and Ananda, meet together, it makes an explosion of rasa that is called Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. Pratibhavita Visa. Bhavita means to infuse. And prati means, what goes around comes around. In other words, Krishna infuses Radhika with rasa and Radhika infuses Krishna with rasa. That is pratibhavita. Tabiya eja nija rupataya. Radhika is nija rup, Krishna's own form. His own Ladini Shakti, his own power of joy has manifested from his heart in the form of a goddess who is the embodiment of all of his desires, all of his dreams, everything he could ever want, and even things he cannot imagine that he wants. That is Radhika. So she's Nija Rupataya Kalabi. And Kala means the Kala, the parts, the expansions of Radhika. Lalita, Vishaka, Chitra, Champakalata, Induleka, Tungavinda, Rangadevi, Sudevi, Rupamanjareti, Manjari. All the gopis are there, each one is the murti of one of the special moods of Radharani. Each one of her moods has a murti, and each murti is one gopi of Brahman. So Radhika and Braj gopis, they are not ladies or human beings or anything. They are none different from Krishna himself. So Bishmadeva is a Naistic brahmachari. He is a Kshatriya. Kshatriyas are known to be very harsh, very hard, because they have to kill. On the battlefield, he's killed so many thousands of people. He's a Jnani. That means Jnani Bhakta. He's a devotee, and he's full of Aishwarya Jnana. And also, he's undergoing a very hard austerity. Sometimes you can think of something, but then when a crisis comes, you forget. But if you remember something, even at the time of crisis, that means that you are very attached to that. Understand? So, even though Krishna can glorify gopis, and gopis glorify the love of other gopis and so on, it is very astonishing if a person who is a Kshatriya, a Naistic brahmachari, a Tattva Jnani, Jnani Bhakta, now I'm speaking all these qualifications which are kind of practical to Madhurya Rasa. You understand? Antagonistic to the appreciation. Having all these qualifications which are antagonistic to the relishment of Madhurya Rasa, and being in a very distressful situation, full of arrows and about to leave this world, if that person will glorify the gopis, then this is a very high level of glorification. You understand? And this is why Narad was in ecstasy and saying, even someone being Kshatriya, being a Tattva Jnani, but still in his last moment, what did he say? Larita Gati Vilasa Falguhasa Pranaya Nirikshana Kapit Urmana Kritam Anukritavatya Unmadhanda Prakritima Kila Yasugopavadva. Oh, Krishna himself was worshipping the gopis by his smiles, by his glances, by his dancing, by his amorous pastimes. In the Rasa Lila, he was worshipping them. He was trying to bring them under the control of his love. Yesterday we touched on the point that when there is praying, Krishna is controlled by the devotee and devotee is controlled by Krishna. But in the Madhu Rasa, this is not true. This is true in Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, but not in Madhurya Rasa. Because in Madhurya Rasa, there's so much contrariness, Bhamya Bhav. The heroine becomes contrary to the beloved. She's not under his control. She has Avahita Bhav, she hides her emotions. She has a Chanchalata, restlessness. She has a Lajja, shyness. There are so many emotions that cause the heroine to hide her mood and not be submissive to her beloved. In Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranaya, Rag. And when Anurag comes, then one of the symptoms of Anurag is called Paraspara Vasubhav Atishay, which means a massive increase in the rasa, in the nectar of the relationship caused by the realization that each is under the control of the other. Vishwanath Thakur said, Shringarayanti bhavatim abhisarayanti. Vikshaiva kanta vaganam parivrittayanti. Drittanchalena harisani vimanayani. Samprapit tarjana sudam rishita bhavani. He's saying, oh, when will I be a maidservant of Radharani and decorate her very beautifully from head to toe in ornaments and beautiful garlands, and then I'll lead her through the forest at night to meet with Krishna. And after sneaking from the house and traveling a long distance in the dark, and after decorating her so nicely, the moment she sees Krishna's face, then Radharani turns around and walks away in the other direction. Krishna, what happened? What did I do? Krishna becomes in anxiety. And then I will think, alas, all my hard work to decorate her so beautifully is going to be wasted. So as Radharani is walking away in the opposite direction, I'll grab her by the veil and start dragging her towards Krishna. And I'm pulling her towards Krishna, and she's trying to get away, but she cannot because I have a veil which is wrapped around her. So that time she'll point her finger at me. And she'll criticize me. Let go of me. Kalankini. You unchaste woman with a bad reputation. I'm not like you. Let me go. And then, so he's saying, Samprapya tarjana sudham vishita bhavani. When will my heart be filled with joy to receive the nectar of Radharani's criticism? So like this, Radha and Krishna come to meet together, but Radharani is contrary and out of Krishna cannot control her. But once, Radha and Krishna, they lost each other in the forest, and they were both searching for each other. Searching, and then suddenly by chance, they came face to face. And when they saw each other, Radha and Krishna both, very enthusiastically and passively, they embraced each other. And then the rasa became very high. Why? Paraspara vasibhav atishoy. Atishoy, excessive bhav. By paraspara vasi, paraspara means mutual vasibhav. They have controlled each other. So that means that in the first situation, Radhika's, this symptom of anurag had not manifested when she turned and ran away. But then on another day, when she was searching for him and Krishna was searching for him, and they met, then she didn't turn around. No, happily they embraced each other. This is paraspara vasibhavatisha. So, here Bishmadeva is saying, Lalita Gati Vilasa Falguhasa. Krishna is very carefully worshipping Braj Gopis to bring them under his control by his singing, by his dancing, by his flute playing, by the way he smiles and glances. All his desires are being expressed in this way. And Vishnudev said, but when Krishna disappeared from the Raslila, then Gopis became unmadanta, blinded with love, and in the madness of separation began to imitate Sri Krishna's pastimes. So then, Narad has described this verse of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Then he told another verse. He said, oh Gop Kumar, not only Bhishma, but the queens of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yesterday we described how Bhishma, he went into Samadhi and he was staring at the beautiful face of Krishna and remembering his pastimes with himself, his pastimes with Arjuna, and finally Krishna's pastimes with the highest devotees of all, the Braj Gopis. And then Bhishma, Dev passed away. So then, now Yudhishthira Maharaj, the sorrow of regret that was caused by the war was now removed, and he went back to the kingdom and became the king, the emperor in Hastinapura. And there was peace and prosperity in the kingdom. So now what does that mean? Now the crisis is over, Krishna will leave and go back to Dwaraka. So Krishna got on the chariot to leave Hastinapura and go back to Dwaraka. At that time, Kunti Devi came and she was crying. And she prayed to him. Namaste Purusham Tuhadyam Ishwaram Prakritim Param Alaksham Sarvabhutanam Antarbahira Vastita. My obeisance is to you. Namaste. Krishna's thinking, why are you giving obeisance to me? You're my auntie. I have to give obeisance to you. Right? Kunti is Krishna's aunt. So you don't, your aunt doesn't give obeisance to you. So she said, Namaste. Look. She said, Purusham Tvadyam. You are Purush. You are Adi Purush, the origin of all existence. Ishvaram Prakritim Param, beyond the material nature. Alaksham Sarvabhutanam, you are invisible to everyone. Antar Bahir Vastitam, although you are everywhere, inside and out, no one can see you. But the implication here is, though you are the Supreme Lord, inside and outside of everything, and no one can see you, by your causeless mercy, you are walking here. You have come to Hastinapura and walking before our eyes. So how fortunate we are to see you, but now you are leaving. And Kunti Devi offered very beautiful prayers, asking Krishna to stay. And Yudhishthira Maharaj also requested him. So Krishna decided to stay for a bit longer. How Krishna is controlled by the love of his devotees. This is only the beginning of first canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. How Krishna is fully present in this katha. So he stayed there for some more time, and then finally he was getting ready to leave. So this time he was leaving. The ladies of Hastinapura, they poured out into the streets. They came onto their balconies and the roofs of their houses. The queens of Yudhishthira Maharaj and other ladies of the royal family. And from the rooftops, as Krishna was leaving, they were showering flowers. And they were holding back their tears. Why? If someone's leaving and you cry, it's inauspicious. It's inauspicious. If someone's leaving, don't make them feel bad by crying. So the ladies of the Hastinapura, they're holding back their tears and showering flowers, talking to each other. What they're talking to each other, even the Vedas, they want to come and listen to that. The Vedas are called Shruti. Shruti means that which is heard. And all the great sages of the universe, they want to hear the Vedas. But the Vedas want to hear the chatter, the chattering of the ladies of Hastinapura with each other upon the roofs of their palace as Krishna is leaving. One lady said to her friend, "Look, there is the Supreme Lord who existed before the manifestation of the universe. Before this world of cause and effect was manifested, only He existed. And when the entire universe is dissolved, only He exists. And in the middle also. He is one, but He wanted to become many, so He has manifested the entire universe." Another lady of the Hastinapur said, "Oh, behold, that Krishna who is beyond the three gunas, and only those sages who are Vijitendriya, they have controlled their senses, And there, Amal Atma, Amalatmana, by a pure chitta, by pure consciousness, they can see him. When our chitta is pure, when our senses are controlled, not only restrained but controlled by being engaged constantly in bhakti, then Krishna mercifully becomes visible to anyone, even today. Don't think only 5,000 years ago. Now, right now. So in this way, they were glorifying Krishna. Another lady of Hastinapura said, Aho alam shlagyatamam yadopulam, Aho alam punyatamam madurbanam, Yadeshapum sam rishabhasriyapati, Swajanmana chankramanena chanchati. One of the ladies, holding back her tears, said, Aho alam, how amazing! Slagyatamam yadokalam, how praiseworthy is the dynasty of Yadu Maharaj. We are human beings in this world, and everyone has a family, and in their family another person is coming. By karma, souls are taking birth. But in the dynasty of Yadu Maharaj, what happened? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the origin of all existence, who is Purna Brahma, who is Paramananda personified, Supreme Bliss personified. He appeared in the dynasty of Yadu. So, Aho alam slagyatamam yado kulam. Not in the Kuru dynasty. See, in Hastinapur, it's the Kuru dynasty, and they are the emperors of the world. But the Yadu dynasty is a minor dynasty, according to the political structure of that time. But the Supreme Lord didn't appear in the Kuru dynasty, he appeared in the Yadu dynasty, who are there in Dwaraka. So Krishna is not staying in Hastinapur, he's leaving to go to Dwaraka. So because he's leaving to go back there and stay with the Yadu dynasty, the ladies of the Kuru dynasty are saying, Aho alam slagyatamam yadokulam, Aho alam punyatamam madurbanam. Then they said something more. How pious, how supremely pious is Madhuvan? That is Braj Mandal. You know, in Braj Mandal there are 12 forests. Beginning with Madhuvan, Talvan, Bahulavan, Bandirvan, Kamyavan, Kelanvan, Kadirvan. Then that's all on the western side of the Yamuna, and on the eastern side of the Yamuna, sorry, Bandirvan is on the eastern side of the Bhadravan, Lohavan, Mahavan, Bhadravan, Belvan. So 12 forests of Braj, but first one is Madhuvan. So we can think that here Madhuvan includes all of Braj Mandal, because the first one is mentioned, so he's saying, Aho alam punyatamam madurbanam. How glorious is the Braj Mandal. Why? Yadesha pumsam rishabhasriyapati. That person who is the original Purush, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the husband of Lakshmi Devi, Shriyapati, the goddess of fortune. You know that? In this world, there she is. Everyone wants Lakshmi. Praying for money, praying for wealth. So to get wealth means to be blessed by Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Everyone wants the blessings of the goddess of fortune, but that goddess of fortune, he's her husband. So she's engaged exclusively with utter chastity in his service. So, how fortunate is Madhuvan, because the Supreme Purush, who is the husband of the goddess of fortune, Swajanmana Chankramamena Chanchati, means he did the pastime of being born. Any incarnation of Bhagavan is never born. You know, Nishingadev, was he born? just burst out of a stone pillar. Varahadev, he fell from the nose of Lord Brahma. He was like a little droplet, and then he grew to the size of a thumb, and then became huge. Even Vasudeva Krishna in the prison cell of Vasudeva and Devaki, he was in the womb of Devaki, but he wasn't born. He just manifested, full size, 16 years old with 4 arms, fully dressed, everything. But not Krishna. Krishna was born from the womb of Mother Yashoda. Like a natural baby. When a natural baby is born in pain, it is said that just as a lotus flower trembles when the wind blows, so the same way, Yogamaya blew the lotus of Krishna and it just came from the womb of Mother Yashoda. So, naked, and hair like this. So, when the Supreme Lord wants to be very, very close to his devotee and become their family member, only then he is born. So how fortunate is Madhuvan, Brajmanda, Aho alam punyatamam madhurbanam. Very fortunate. Because Krishna, he was born there, and chankramanena chanchati means that the dust of Brajmanda has marks where he was crawling on his hands and knees. So the dust of Braj is unique and transcendental and glorious because they're the marks of Krishna's crawling. Chankramamena chanchati means the marks that he made in the dust of Braj from his birth. So it includes when he's crawling on the floor, when he was older, then he's walking, and then when he became a youth. Vrindavanam sakibhavo vitanoti kirti yadeva ki sutapadambuja labja lakshmi. Labda Lakshmi. This is not Lakshmi Devi, it is Lakshmi. Means beautified. Vrindavan is beautified by the lotus footprints of Krishna. So the ladies of Hastinapura, they say, how glorious is Brajamana. Then another lady of Mathura, she said, Nunam bratasnanu huta dineshwara samarchito yasya grihita pani bihi pibanti ya sakyanu adararitam muhur brajastriya sammu muhur yadashaya. Nunam bratasnan. What vows did the ladies of Yadu dynasty, that means the queens of Dwaraka, Rukmini, Satyabhama, Nagnajiti, Mitravinda, Lakshmana, Jambavati, what vratas, what vows did they perform? What austerities did they perform? Nunamrata, Snana, which holy places did they take bath? What pilgrimages did they go on? Hutari, what fire sacrifices did they perform? What mantras did they chant? That Hutadineshwara Samarchito Yasya Grihita Panibi. They must have done first class perfect archana worship of God. That Grihita Panibi, that God accepted their hand in marriage. The ladies of Hastinapura cannot believe it. What do you have to do that God decides to marry you? Grihita Panibi. He takes your hand in a ceremony performed by the priest, and now you become his wife. They cannot believe it. So they're thinking of They are themselves in Hastinapura, but thinking of the great fortune of all the wives of Krishna are there in Dwaraka waiting for him to return. What is their loss will be the queens of Dwaraka's gain. And then she said, Pibanti ya sakyadaramrita mahor. Not only that, what austerities did those ladies of Dwaraka perform? Pibanti ya sakyadaramrita mahor. That every day, again and again, they can kiss Krishna and drink the nectar of his lips. Brajastriya sammoho yadashaya. The queens of Dwaraka daily can kiss Krishna and drink the nectar of his lips. But the Gopis of Vrindavan, they faint, they fall unconscious, they become senseless, only thinking about it. Here, Brajastriya sammoho yadashaya. Yadashaya means only desiring to drink the nectar of Krishna's lips. The Gopis of Vrindavan, they become senseless, fall unconscious. So Narad, he was telling Gopkumar this verse. Because Narad, he could not find words to glorify the Gopis. So he was borrowing from Bishmadeva, he was borrowing from the ladies of Hastinapura. And showing how they have glorified the prema of Gopis of Vrindavan. This verse has a very deep meaning. The deep meaning is this. When do the Gopis faint, desiring to drink the nectar of Krishna's lips? Uddhav has described it in the 3rd canto, in his discussion with Vidura. After Krishna had left this world, Uddhav set off for Badrikashram. But Krishna told him, go to Badrikashram, but on the way go to the Jamuna, and there you'll meet with Maitreya and Vidura. That's the 3rd canto of Srimad-Bhagavatam. So Vidura asked Uddhav, oh, tell me about the welfare of the Yadu dynasty. Then Uddhav, he went into trance. Why? Because Vidura did not know that Krishna had left this world and the Yadu dynasty was finished. Because of an argument with Duryodhana, Vidura had left home and gone on Tirthayatra and he missed the war and everything. So Uddhav, he fell into trance. And in his trance he was in the spiritual world with Krishna due to separation. And then, after some time, his ecstasy subsided and he came back into external consciousness. And then he spoke to Vidura. He told him, Yan martili lopaika swayoga maya bala darshayata grihitum vismapanam swasya tatsovagade paramparam bhushana bhushanangam. Trembling in separation from Krishna. He said, oh, Krishna, by the power of Yoga Maya, manifested in this world a form like a mortal human being, which was so excessively beautiful that upon seeing him, all would become amazed. No, not even all living entities, even his own expansions became amazed. You know, when Krishna was in Dwaraka, there was one Brahmin and his sons, each son was born and disappeared. He had another son and then he disappeared. Arjun, he came to Arjun to complain and Arjun said, I take a vow, I'll protect your next child, otherwise I'll enter fire. So when the Brahmin's wife gave birth to his next child, Arjun was there with his bows and arrows and the child disappeared. And then Arjun was so sad. So then Arjun, he'd given his word, I'll kill myself in fire. So then he built a big funeral pyre and he got on the funeral pyre and took his arrow, and he was about to set fire to it and burn himself alive. Krishna said, wait a minute. Let's see if we can find the children. Come with me. So Krishna and Arjuna got together on the chariot, Krishna's chariot. Krishna has a special chariot. And it flew through all the planets and through the coverings of the universe to the causal ocean. And when they came outside the universe and into the causal ocean, there they saw the massive, massive form of Mahavishnu, from whom millions of universes are in each. Don't think one universe comes from each pore of his skin. There's millions of universes moving like tiny atoms within the crater of each pore of his skin. He's so huge. And they saw him. And Mahavishnu smiled and said in a very deep voice, oh, I have stolen those children. I have done it. Just to bring you here because I wanted to have your darshan. And Mahavishnu was seeing the beauty of Krishna's human-like form. Mahavishnu, who is God himself, who is Krishna's own expansion. Vismapanam swasya tsovagari. He was struck with wonder at the beauty of this human-like form. Paramparam bhushana bhushanangam. Uddhav said, Krishna is so beautiful that when he puts on rings and bracelets and ornaments, the ornaments don't make him more beautiful, he makes the ornaments more beautiful. So Uddhav was crying that he's lost Krishna. Krishna has left this world and he wanted to go with him, but Krishna told him you have to stay. You have to go to Badrikashram and give instructions to the sages there. And also to Vidura. So Vidura was crying. Why? Because he found out from Uddhav that Krishna in his last moment before he was leaving this world remembered him. So you go to the Jamuna there, meet with Vidura, give him your association. So now Vidura was crying that he didn't see Krishna for so long. Krishna had left, but in his last moment he remembered me. So both Uddhav and Vidura, they are weeping in separation from Krishna. How dramatic is Srimad-Bhagavatam? This is first canto, just first few chapters. Hearing this katha from a pure Vaishnava, you can realize the presence of Krishna now, today. So then Uddhav, he said to Vidura, when Krishna left Vrindavan, at that time, the Gopis, all their senses became inert, they became senseless. And they sat down in silence, unable to speak. Actually, one should not speak about the Krishna's leaving Vrindavan and the pain of Gopis in separation from him, in front of the very high-level devotees, because they will feel so much pain. So, this is why the queens of Hastinapura, when they said, oh, look, how fortunate are the queens of Dwaraka that they accepted the hand of Krishna in marriage. That they used to drink the nectar of Krishna's lips. But the Gopis of Vrindavan, they faint. Only remembering that nectar is a reference to when Krishna left the Vrindavan, and then Gopis remembering how Krishna used to kiss them, they became senseless. In intense anxiety, overwhelmed with anxiety of separation. But the queens of the Hastinapur, they could not speak it. So they have hid it. They have said that they, only desiring to taste the nectar of Krishna's lips, they would become bewildered. They have said this. But they did not openly say when Krishna left them. Because that should not be spoken, because the devotees, the very high-level devotees will feel pain. And that's why, that's the inner meaning of this verse spoken by the queens of Dwaraka, the queens of Hastinapura. And so Sanatana Goswami is comparing this verse with what Uddhav said. Uddhav said directly to Vidura, when Krishna left Vrindavan, Gopis became senseless. He should not have said it, but why did he say it? Because it's the sign of extreme agitation. Because at that moment, Krishna just left the world. And because he was in extreme separation, that Krishna had actually left the world, his mind became unsteady, and therefore he spoke what should not have been spoken out loud to Vidura, because of the great unsteadiness of his mind, which is the symptom of the great separation that Uddhav is feeling from Krishna. So Sanatana Goswami has compared these two verses to indicate what the ladies of Hastinapura are really saying, and also prove the reason why they didn't say it out loud at that time when Krishna was living on the chariot. Understand? So Srimad-Bhagavatam is like this. Every word full of oceans of nectar. So we have to, as he was saying, that was a discussion point, important discussion point. Remain always absorbed in Harikatha. Srimad-Bhagavatam is endless ocean. If we will hear it from pure devotees, we can drown in that. Don't come up for air. Don't be concerned with what is going on here, there, everywhere in the world. Chant Hare Krishna and relish Srimad-Bhagavatam. These two things. Nasta Preshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sailaya. Every day, Sadhu Sangha, serve the Bhagavats, the pure devotees, and hear Srimad-Bhagavatam. Because bhakti comes when we have avesh. Avesh means absorption. So if we interrupt our bhajan to do other things, then the avesh will not come, absorption will not come. Don't think that you can realize Krishna. In the ordinary, one day you are walking on the street and Krishna will show up. Impossible. When all of our senses and mind are in the state of avesh, completely absorbed in every moment. And utkanta. Avesh is absorption and utkanta means eagerness. Feeling anxiety. Krishna, where are you? Krishna, where are you? You can check yourself what anxiety you are feeling. Are you feeling anxiety from Krishna? Where is Krishna? Do you feel anxiety? Oh, where will I get money? Do you feel anxiety? Oh, he said that, she said that, he said, this one is thinking this about me and that one is saying that about me. What anxiety are you in? So we want to be absorbed constantly in Harinam and Harikatha. Naturally, the utkanta, anxiety in separation from Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki Jai. Lord Premanande.